once said, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Perhaps learn some code to build your own website to help out COVID 19. Or maybe just make a funny TikTok video to put a smile on someone's face.
Yeah, well, Jackie, it was nice having you on. You really are an inspiration to young people. So thank you for giving us your time.
Of course, again, thank you so much for interviewing me.
Well, Jackie, I mean, I have to say, I'm 25 years old and I'm actually like embarrassed that I haven't done enough. And the fact that, that at your age you're doing this much, this should definitely goes to show that you don't have to be an adult. You don't have to be in like a position of power or even have money to be able to do something. Every little bit of effort helps in this cause. And like you've shown all of us, we can take the time and, make something great of something small. So the next person I'd like to introduce is Zubia Said. She is a Caltech intern, and she's going to be telling us some of her experiences as a teenager with this whole situation. Zubia?
Hi, so I'm Zubia. I go to Saddleback College, and I did just start interning at CalPAC, which is a nonprofit that helps put girls in schools. And so I'm here to like talk a little bit about coronavirus and how it's going. Sorry, it's like um wait, sorry. Could you repeat what you said?
What has your experience been like with coronavirus right now? I mean, your situation at home. Do you miss your friends? Are you able to stay at home? What are happening with your classes and everything? I mean, just
So it's been kind of crazy. I am staying at home right now. I have not been going out as should everyone else. Right now, all my classes are all online, and I have not seen my friends in weeks. It's kind of surreal that this is all happening, but it's kind of an interesting experience.
no, definitely. You're not a sophomore or senior, right, at your institute?
Sorry, no, I'm a freshman at Saddleback.
Oh, okay, perfect. Because I know a lot of seniors right now who are missing out on prom, who are missing out on important events. They're absolutely hating the situation right now, and they just want to be out. They don't know how they're gonna be able to make up, for graduations and whatnot. I have a younger brother who was supposed to be graduating from UCLA, and he's upset. He spent 4 years at UCLA, and this was supposed to be the last semester he's gonna be enjoying with his friends from international and all whatnot, and it's just everything's just been taken away. They offered a virtual type of graduation, but it's not the same because people had plans to come over, from abroad, from Europe, family from Pakistan or wherever they were, and they were gonna join us, for this momentous occasion. And it's just like everyone had to, cancel their tickets and whatnot. So right now he has his schedule actually labeled on his door as to when we shouldn't bother him. From 1 to 2, he has this class and whatnot. So I mean, I asked him, how have your classes been going? He's like, it's just awkward. It's like a Zoom setup, and like it's much more weirder not being able to be in person. So tell me, like, how do you think your friends have been doing through this whole thing? Like, do they ever ask you like, hey Zubia, like, forget what they're saying, like, it's been 2 weeks, let's meet up?
Yeah, so I completely agree with you. It's a really bad time, especially for seniors in high school and in colleges. I have a couple friends who are supposed to graduate from high school and friends who are supposed to graduate from college as well. And it's a really bad time. Honestly, I feel like, yeah, they are missing out on a lot of opportunities and like memories and everything, but it's not worth going outside for because at the end of the day, like the more we go out, the more we, like go out for no reason, the longer this whole like quarantine thing is gonna last. So hopefully they're like this thing ends soon, but it's a really unfortunate like series of events. But there's honestly nothing that we could do about it except just stay home.
No, no, of course. I want to open this up to Adam and Jackie as well too. What has your experience, being at home, stuck at home, been like? Have you guys been doing any type of physical activity to keep yourself, like, physically sane? Are you guys just? Well, I know Jackie's he's doing amazing work. I'm watching Netflix, even though I'm doing my best, not to get in my family's hair. Like, it's been, I think, 4 or 5 weeks now that we've all been stuck at home. So I mean, the pressure is probably building up, with our siblings and with our parents. So, I mean, how has your experience been with all of this?
Well, the first few weeks of quarantine have were a little rough for me. I couldn't go outside. I couldn't go biking. I couldn't like play golf. My, some of my most favorite activities. But what I learned is like I learned like some new things about my family. Like I learned some new things about my brother. We started playing some new video games that he likes, and I've also been like I sort of find distance learning a little easier, and now I actually know how homeschool kids work. So that's something like that's a new experience, and
Yeah.
I also I enjoy waking up when I want to for school, and I've been like doing some at home activities like I for over like I think about 5 years it's been I've never like built a Lego, and like just the other day I built like a huge house, so it felt so good to
Oh wow.
actually build one. One of my most favorite hobbies when I was like 10 years old. But yeah, it's just new experience, gotta adapt.
Yeah, Jackie, how about you?
For me, at the beginning, it was really rough because I love boba milk tea. So like every weekend, I used to go out and get it. Um, but you find ways to adapt, and I agree with Adam. There are some benefits to staying at home. Like again, you spend more time with your family. Distance learning isn't the worst, and ultimately you can buy some boba milk tea powder online and just make it yourself.
Okay, awesome. How are things like with your parents? Like, how are they dealing with it? Are they like getting on your nerves? Are they more angrier? Because I mean, my dad is used to working every day and he has absolutely nothing to do right now. So every day it's just like, what should we do? What are my kids doing? And he's nitpicking at every little thing. And, I told him, like, you know what? Why don't you try something new instead of watching, Pakistani dramas or watching the news, which is driving you nuts? Like, maybe clean the house or maybe, like paint a room or something, So, how's it been for you guys?
So for me, like the first couple of like days and weeks were really rough, but now I feel like me and my family have gotten used to each other, and we started doing this thing where it's like we kind of like leave each other alone for a little bit, but like
That's
every other night,
important. Me time is very important.
yeah, definitely. But we have like a little family movie night or a family game night, or we just spend a little time doing something together. Like we'll go
Okay.
on walks in the neighborhood or something like that. It's like nice, because I've actually gotten used to being around my parents and we're not fighting as much anymore because I feel like at this point of the quarantine, it's like, what is there to fight about? There's
Really
nothing
true.
left to do. We're all suffering, we're all going through it. So I guess it's just, there's like benefits to this. I feel like now we've gotten used to like how to deal with each other and not getting like on each other's nerves as much and just compromising and
Yeah.
being patient.
Very true. Now I know you mentioned something else like taking walks around the neighborhood. Now I know some people are gonna be like, "Hey, you shouldn't be doing that. That's considered, going outside." So I mean, what do you guys feel about that? Because I know like I have to take a daily walk. Like we all need some type of physical activity, and we definitely need vitamin D because low vitamin D's have shown signs, to increase depression. So we technically need the sun in some form or manner, to be able to stay healthy. So I mean, I know when I go to walks, either by myself, preferably, or with the whole family, just mobbing, brown people walking around in a neighborhood, we make sure, we at least have a mask on or something like that. So I mean, I feel like that would be the best option. Or what do you guys feel about that? Should we be walking?
Well, I feel that like if you're just um if you're just cooped up in the house, I mean, like you're gonna like studies have shown that like you need psychological interaction with nature. So like I think it's okay to go outside in your backyard or maybe go like a couple walks around the block, but like I think it's unnecessary to go on a whole bike ride um like a different neighborhood, or like go to the pool when go to the pool, or like go to the park. I think it's just like limited to like your own like street, or yeah.
No, I feel you. I make sure that I'm looking down the sidewalk and I make sure if I see anybody, I walk the other direction.
Yes.
And it's kind of like a social contract now that all the neighbors, they know if we're about to run into each other like Pac-Man, we either change direction or we go on the street just to avoid all contact.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like there's a huge difference between, like going on walks or like, just going outside for a little bit versus like actually going to like a public area. So like I feel like parks and pool areas are very dangerous. You know, some people don't like to follow the rules of quarantine and like to go there. But I feel like walks or like biking like close to your house or something like that, that should be perfectly fine. And like you said, like I always like go on the side of the road if someone's passing by, or like I just go on the other side of the street. Honestly, as long as we're avoiding like contact, keeping like a very safe distance from like other families, it honestly should be fine. Or
No,
else
I
we're gonna go.
I agree. I mean, that's why I take drives. I mean, driving is the perfect thing. You're locked up in a little, car. You can have the windows down on the freeway. You're not next to anybody else, so that's the best. I mean, I was just driving down PCH to Laguna Beach, and I was actually surprised to see so many people walking around. A little too many than they actually should have. So, I mean, it's just like some people really aren't taking this seriously. Like, I know a lot of people who feel like either this is some sort of 5G scam going on, this is some invented, virus by the government. Like, people are coming up with all types of, conspiracy theories. But honestly, you can't deny people are dying. So there has to be something behind this, regardless.
No
So,
matter who created it, no matter what's behind it, it's still possible. So I should just stay home or like. See, like the thing is, no matter what it is, it's still doing damage. So it
exactly.
doesn't matter if you think you're like untouchable. You know, you still can be infected. But some people just don't understand that.
So, I mean, let's talk about more specifically with depression. So, I know that's a word that's usually thrown a lot around, and a lot of people don't understand it. And right now, a lot of people, have been experiencing feeling sadness, feeling down, not being able to look into the future and be like, when is this going to end, because every 30 days they seem to be extending it. And that sometimes it really doesn't look like there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And so, I mean, not being able to have, like you said, like human connection is very important. Like, we're made to interact with other people, and sometimes social media isn't enough. So, how have you guys had any specific experience personally, like dealing with depression or having some sort of anxiety?
For me, the way that I like to look at it is that I'm not the only one going through it. I used to have really bad anxiety. Like I'd be like, when am I gonna see my friends? Like, when am I gonna go back to school? Like, that was a big thing for me. I really loved going to school because it got me out of the house.
You don't hear that often.
Yeah. But now, like, I used to complain about it being like, this is so unfair and everything. But now I look at it as like, the entire world is going through this.
Yeah.
Like we can sit here and be depressed, but at the end of the day, like, there's people in way worse situations that have to deal with this. And, honestly, we're very lucky to like have what we have right now and at least make this quarantine comfortable. But for other people, a lot of people are going through really tough times, not having a roof over their head. And it honestly could be worse for us.
No, you're
That's how I.
absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I mean, when you think about, I mean, this whole entire situation, I think it could be like a really prime example of what people are experiencing in third countries. I mean, when you think about what Kashmir went through, I mean, they're in complete lockdown. They don't even have Wi-Fi to go on Netflix or FaceTime. They don't even have telephone service to be able to talk to one another. It's complete pitch black, nothing. And Palestinians, I mean, in Palestine, they're under some another form of lockdown where they don't even have school, they don't even have groceries. I mean, we're here hoarding toilet paper, which is probably another topic we should talk about. And over there, people can't even afford bread. So, I mean, definitely we should take this time to reflect and be thankful of the resources that we have and the Wi-Fi that we have, to be able to make this a much more comfortable lockdown than other people are definitely going through. Adam, how about you? Anything, with depression or anxiety?
Well, the first few days I was a little depressed that like, hey, I can't go out, I can't see my grandparents, and my parents were like, kind of added to it because with their, oh my gosh, but um, what I, what got me through it was just having faith. I had faith that everything was gonna be okay, and I knew like I, I'm I'm living in one of the best countries in the world, and I know that, hey, hey, like our government's here to protect us, and we're gonna go through this. Well, everyone's going through this. We're all gonna be okay, and what we need to do is we just need to listen to the people who know what they're talking about and trust in them. Don't think that they're that they're manipulating us. Just trust them, and everything will be okay.
No, very true. Because rumors and fears, it just spreads more chaos, and like that's the last thing that we need. Jackie, anything you'd like to add?
So for me, in the beginning, of course, as with everyone else, it was a little bit difficult, but you always find ways to cope with these stressful situations. For me, I'm a really lighthearted person, so not a lot of things faze me. And I think, but things that do, like social connection is still important. So I try to cope with this by FaceTiming friends or even buying a Minecraft realm and playing with them there. So yeah, those are kind of the things that I do.
Okay, cool. So I know personally I deal with a bit of anxiety here and there, and the most ironic part is a significant symptom of anxiety is having shortness of breath. And obviously one of the major symptoms of coronavirus is shortness of breath. So I mean, I can only imagine how many people while they're feeling shortness of breath that they're probably freaking out and paranoid that oh my god, I probably have coronavirus. And the fact that hospitals are full and at capacity, you know, even just going to the hospital could put you at risk of getting coronavirus. So, I mean, I can imagine what it's putting individuals as they feel like they really have no option or any type of route to be able to get help. I mean, you go to a doctor, you could get infected. You don't go to a doctor, you could, worsen your symptoms. So, I mean, have you guys come up with any anxiety battling tricks that have helped you? I mean, for me personally, it's, taking walks. Breathing exercises have helped a lot. I know there's a great app on the iPhone called Calm. It helps you, focus your mind and, on your breathing and helps you, take your mind off of these types of things. Do you guys have any other personal tips that have helped?
I don't really use apps or stuff like that to stay calm. I kind of just been, going through this day by day. The way I like to think about it is that, as long as we're home, we're at home safe. We're safe from whatever else is going on outside. So like, I've always had like this anxiety of like, oh, like I'm feeling a little bit off. Like, am I sick? Am I sick? But when I think about it, I'm like, but I've been at home. Like my family has been at home. So like that. There's like a little bit of like calmness that comes with like knowing that like there's a very low chance of me actually having coronavirus or like my family having coronavirus.
Okay.
Honestly, at the end of the day, like as long as we're staying at home, like we are safe from all of that. The more we go out, the more we put ourselves at risk, the more we put everyone else at risk.
Is there like a particular activity that any of you guys specifically do to cope with, anxiety or depression? You have like a go-to thing?
Well, like I said, I built the Lego after 5 years, and it just felt so calming because I'm just one of those guys who just likes to work with my likes to work with my hands and like building stuff. And when I built it and I put it in my Lego room, because I have a Lego room at home,
Oh,
it's
nice.
like a Lego city, and when I put it there, it just looked. I just felt so happy because it looked so like good with my other Lego sets, and I just felt happy because I haven't done it after a while, and I succeeded at doing something. And so I think another way you can cope with being at home is to have a goal in mind. Have a goal for each day, and like accomplish a goal each day, and then by the end of the quarantine, I can guarantee you'll feel very successful, and you'll um you'll be very pleased with yourself.
Totally agree. Jackie, anything?
An activity I do is I think a lot of you know the show Key and Peele. I just rewatch a lot of clips from there. And in general, just a lot of comedies. Or I could just go on TikTok and see like what's popping
Ah,
there.
TikTok. Can never get that. You can spend the whole day doing TikTok and not get bored. That's so true.
Mm.
Yeah,
Uh,
I agree with. Oh,
no, go ahead.
oh, I agree with Jackie about comedy. So like, for I watch The Office. It's a really funny show. So like, and that's just like made me laugh. Like it just makes me laugh. And whenever I'm just feeling down, or whenever I'm overwhelmed with school, online school, I just turn on the TV and watch an episode, and I just just makes me feel happy.
No, I agree. And like this is one unique thing about our generation is we're the generation of memes. That is our way of coping with, like overpowering stimulus. So much is going on. I mean, when you think about it, 2020 started off so crazy with so many different events and it's just like it just started and we thought this was going to be our year and yet it was just one thing after another and after another and it's just like we spread laughter and we cope with all of this stress by making memes and making light of the situation. And I know adults sometimes don't understand like why are you being so insensitive? It's not about being insensitive. It's just about looking at the other side of things. Like if you're gonna be stressed and all solid and cold, it's not gonna be healthy. That's not the best way to cope. And obviously everyone copes with it differently, but I mean, have a laugh, have a good laugh. Go on TikTok, watch a funny movie. Like search up jokes if you have to, but like definitely laugh and smile as much as you can. The next thing I definitely want to talk about is bullying. Now, there news have been reporting, that many Asian immigrants and even national-born Asians, just in general, have seen an increase in bullying, and obviously we know why. People are ignorant, and they have misplaced emotions, misplaced information, and they have this pent-up anger and emotions, and they don't know who to direct it at. So, I mean, I don't want to insult those people, but obviously they have a lower IQ that they end up, directing that sort of anger and emotions towards the people who really aren't at fault at all. So, I mean, have you guys have heard of any experience from, from your friends or, what would you like to say about that?
Yeah, definitely. I've seen a lot of this happening. Like, I haven't seen it happen like in front of me, but I've seen it on social media. Like people are saying like really racist things to Asians, which is really unfair. And like the thing is, I feel like like we as Muslims can really relate to this because after 9/11 happened, they did the same thing to us. And I feel like whenever something like this happens, they're really quick to point fingers at, where it happened. And like anyone who's from that area, they like to just blame them. And I feel like that's really like immature and rude. And it kind of like is a really bad thing to do, you know? And it's really sad right now because like people are even afraid to stand near Asian people, which makes no sense because anyone can have it.
Yeah.
It makes
Yeah.
no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. And honestly, like I feel like it's just gonna keep like getting worse. People don't stop with these type of things.
No, totally right. Adam?
Well, I see a lot of bullying on social media, and especially a lot of people are calling the virus the China virus, or like, I mean, I get it is from China, and like, it's there's a lot of other things that had happened in China, but I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think we should call it China virus because it's just um, it's all over the world. One, and two, it's just if if everything like if we put a label on everything on who caused the problem, we'd be American like Americans they started slavery, but like I mean everybody should have like a second chance, and yeah, that's what I believe.
Jackie, how about you?
I agree. On social media, I've seen a lot of, I guess, it wasn't even just comments. Like, I've even seen, I think, like actual assaults against minorities because of this. But although we talk about bullying, I think another thing we have to realize is that just as there are bullies, there's a greater amount of people who want to help out, people who are standing up to these bullies. In those videos, like, sure, people are getting attacked, but on the sidelines, you see people coming in trying to defend these people. So, yeah, bullying does exist, but I also think that, like, a lot of people are trying to help out in this time.
No, totally agree. And honestly, it's not even just with kids. I mean, I'm a 25-year-old adult, and you even go on regular Instagram pages that are just posting about the news, and it's adults, even old people, who just have absolutely no self-control, and they just start blurting out like the most absurd things. I mean, it's crazy. But I mean, what can you do about those people except, educate them to the best of our abilities? But I mean, definitely Muslims, brown people, all brown people in general. I mean, they were targeted, like you said, after 9/11. Like, we kind of know firsthand, what it's like when people look at you, spit on you, say the most horrifying, cruel things to you. So I mean, yeah, but it's our job, as every human being should, that we should stand up for these people, stand up for everyone, just like how we would want other people to stand up for us. So I mean, I hope whoever is listening, that if they see something, that definitely stand up. If they see a post like that, don't share it first of all, and just try and educate the person and tell them, like, this isn't going to solve anything. Being racist, making mean comments, it's absolutely not productive whatsoever. It's not going to change what happened, and it's not going to make, future things better. So, I mean, after, all of this discussion is done, I mean, we kind of ask ourselves, what else can we do as teenagers, to help out in the situation? And I know many people have actually started making masks at home, because there's a shortage. So, I mean, I think, that's one thing that we can definitely do. I know, I mean, I personally can't sew, but I've been making masks out of tissue paper, like those thick plies one, and you put like 5 together and like staple them, and like, because we couldn't, really, they all ran out. So anytime we had to go out, we just attached a rubber band and, put it on. So, I mean, it's better than us taking up the resources that could very well be sent to other people who need them more. So, I mean, do you guys have any ideas, anything else that you feel like that we can do? Definitely, I mean, besides staying at home, what else do you think that we can be doing? It's a tough question, I know, because
Well,
I gave the easiest one.
Rahim, I could interject. I think all of you are doing something fantastic by being right here. Imagine all the young people who are feeling what you're feeling are now feeling good about having young people actually express the same feelings that they're having and make it okay. All this conversation that you had on such important issues to young people like anxiety, you talked about depression, you talked about being cooped up in a house, and you've got your father and your mother and kids and siblings 24/7. That's really hard to cope with. And as as a teacher, I'm really proud of all of you, of seeing what Jackie can do. And I know that Zubia came forward and said, "What can I do?" And Zubia said, "I'm gonna advocate for girls' education in Pakistan, because I can look at you, I can look at myself, and truly say that we are really fortunate to be living in the United States of America, a country that has billions of dollars to protect us through COVID. But look at all the other countries in the world who don't have basic necessities. They don't have food on their table. Of course, even amongst us in Orange County, we're donating money to the food bank because the food bank actually had a burglary. I don't know if you guys heard that. But I mean, at this desperate time, I think it's very important that you guys came forward and you spoke by being here. Rahim, you are interning for Amwec and you're helping us out with social media. Adam, by speaking out for your generation. Zubia, for you're helping out. That's something everyone can do, and I hope that young people hear from you, and actually do something, because we've got the time. And you know what, this adversity, it brings out the best in us, and that's why I see young people like you doing amazing things. And so, Rahim, may I take a moment to congratulate Jackie Nee. Jackie, we're really proud of you. And here at the American Muslim Multi-Faith Women's Empowerment Council, we are honoring you with $100 donation for your website. And once this is over, we're going to also send you a plaque so that you can remember us as you grow older. And I'm sure, I have no doubt that all of you and Jackie, you're going to do amazing things and become great leaders in this great country of ours.
Thank you so much.
A couple of things I want to mention. You said, Jackie, that you want to make a difference. I think it's important for all of us, young people and older people, even women of my generation, parents that are here. They all can make a difference right now, because this is the time to think and reevaluate what is important to us. So you found your calling, and I hope that through your inspiration, other kids, other adults also find their calling. I think that is a really, really good piece of advice that came out. we also talked about bullying. And so I want to share a little story about myself. I'm a Muslim, I'm a Pakistani, and I started teaching 2 days after 9/11 happened. So you can imagine how the whole attention turned towards this Muslim teacher who's teaching at Lakeside Middle School in Irvine. And a lot of teachers didn't thought they assumed that I'm from Saudi Arabia, and the terrorists, they were majority of them were from Saudi Arabia. So they asked me, "Is your family okay? Are you okay?" And I had to actually, reach out to them and say, you know what, Muslims are really diverse. Muslims come from Malaysia, Indonesia, China, and I happen to come from Pakistan, and no, I don't have any relatives in Saudi Arabia. It's unfortunate that the terrorists were Muslims, but Muslims are not terrorists. And so that is when my own advocacy for young people, for Muslims, for Pakistanis began. And once again, right after that, my daughter she was a student at Uni High, and a lot of her friends were being name called. And it was post 9/11, anything they shared about being a Muslim, kids would just slur and say, "Oh, you terrorist." And so when I went to another district, I joined another school, a colleague of mine, which is, unheard of. It was shocking for me that another public school teacher, after the 7/7 bombing in London, if you guys, you weren't probably very old to remember, but there was another terrorist bombing, and it was perpetuated by Muslims and Pakistanis, and they also shared my last name. And so another colleague of mine came and accused me of being a sleeper agent. And so at that moment, I thought, what can I do? I'm not going to be victimized because I know that I love America. America has given everything that I ever wanted to my kids, to my family. What am I going to do? A Jewish friend of mine came forward. She was also a teacher, and she said, "What can I do for you?" And then a Christian friend of mine, who's an art teacher, came forward, and she said, "No, we're in this together." And we wrote a book, and that book is called Mommy MIA ... And in that, my daughter allowed me, she's a Uni High graduate, and then she went to Berkeley. She allowed me to share her story because there was no book to talk about Muslims in a post 9/11 classroom. Like, how do teachers start that very difficult discussion about including Muslims? Now, I'm a teacher, and I start my second, third trimester, I start talking about the Holocaust. And I bring in Holocaust speakers. And I'll tell you guys one amazing, and Rahim, he was honored by your university, Chapman
Oh,
University. His name is Mr. Jack Pariser. He is a Holocaust survivor. He is a dear friend of mine. God bless him and keep him safe during COVID. He came, and I told him, "I want you to share your experience." I showed my students, after reading Anne Frank, I showed my students his video in which he talked about how his family was hiding underground, 8, 9 people, for a whole 9 months. And they would just get out for that little break to go to the bathroom and then come back into that hole, which was like a grave. And when he shared that with my students year in and year out, my students remember that was the highlight of their lives. They can never forget that they met a Holocaust survivor whose story was so amazing, and he still comes and shares it. And when I think of COVID, and I think I'm ground here, I'm bound to my home, I think about Anne Frank. I think about Mr. Jack Pariser, who must be saying, "It's okay, I'm used to it." So there are amazing people that we can learn from, that we can look to their stories and get inspired and tell each other, "Anne Frank did it for 2 years, and we're going to make the most of it." And look at the legacy she left behind. She left behind a beautiful legacy of a book written by a teenager, and now when teenagers and even adults read it, we understand history very differently. And then for young people, and I urge all of you that are watching to write your diaries, because you are bearing witness. You are witness to COVID, which has attacked the entire world. It's like the Third World War. Some people say that. So with that, that was my teacher perspective to all of you. Please share your story, tell your story, post it, because one day it's going to be part of literature that is going to be shared and read through history classes in America. This is our American life, and this is how we're dealing with COVID. So, for all of you that are watching, I thank you. Some of the ways you can get involved with us is definitely by doing what everybody else is doing. Come and join us, intern with us. For the kids at high school, university high, and by the way, I used to teach at university high for a little bit. You can, I'm sorry, I just lost my screen a little bit. So you can actually, I think you can start clubs that have, for CalPAC or Amwec. We also offer internships for young people, and Rahim, you're probably going to be ready for that. And Jackie, you too, through the International Leadership Foundation, which is an Asian American Pacific Islander initiative, and we have 19 federal government agencies and the White House, and we send some of our best Asian American kids every summer to do the internship, and we are going to do it next year, and we can be sure of that. We will get out of this, and we'll overcome. You can also get internships through American Muslim Multi-Faith Women's Empowerment Council. You can work with us, which is going to get you a great resume for your college and your job applications, whatever you want. So come and join us. Think about how we can all work together, because we indeed are in it together. And those are some of the ways. And you can always email us. All the people that you see on this Facebook page, they can be your conduits to connecting us if you don't know who we are. And just remember that silence is never an option. And if we do get attacked, we need to come out of it stronger. And with that, I pass it over to Rahim.
Perfect. So basically, we're at the end of this webinar right now, and I want to thank all of you for taking the time to giving us teenagers a voice to speak and, talk about all these important issues. And I really hope that you guys were able to take away something, or at least realize one important thing, that you're not alone in any of this. Whatever emotions that you're feeling, we're also feeling, and 8 other billion people are feeling that to a huge major degree. I would love for you guys to take a look at our, I hope you guys can at least see, join us on our Facebook account. We have Amwec official. Definitely click on that. And we're also on Instagram at Amwec official. I hope you guys can catch us on there. I'm going to see if anyone has posted any type of question that we haven't answered already before we end it. I want to make sure that we give everybody a chance. Let's see. Okay, perfect. We have one question I think we might have answered. Motivation. Okay, yeah, we already talked about motivation, right? The best way to keep motivated is, to come up with a goal or something that you can do every day. It doesn't have to be a long-term goal where you go pick up a language, you can learn how to cook. I definitely learned how to cook. I mean, I love cooking in general, so I was able to learn, how to make biryani, chicken tikka, kadai chicken, and all that stuff. So I've been keeping myself busy, keeping my stomach full, and keeping my mom out of the kitchen, so at least she gets off my back about, a lot of other stuff. So I guess if you guys have any other last comments that you guys would like to add in, or everybody good? Thumbs up? You good? Okay, awesome. All right, hope you guys have a blessed Friday and enjoy your weekend, and definitely implement what we talked about today. All right, see you guys.
Bye. It was nice meeting you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, everybody. So, Rahim, I'm going to ask you to end the meeting.